Sean, shut the fuck up.
Take a seat, crack a cold, let the tales unfold. In the world of banter, where laughter's never old. Wasted wagons rolling on through the night. With each sip, the story takes flight.
And welcome back, Wagoneers, to another exciting episode of the Wasted Wagons podcast. With us, we have Todd, Mike, Russell, Pat, Sean, and myself. I'm Travis. And we're going to be opening up today's episode fresh off of our interview with UNO's head baseball coach, Dax Norris. And we're going to give him a lot of appreciation. I think the interview went really well. He was a very gracious guy. He made it really easy for us because I don't know how y'all felt going into it, but I was a little nervous heading into it. And I think it all just kind of really went very smoothly. But Pat, Todd, Mike, y'all have anything that y'all would like to add on that?
What were you nervous about? Interviewing a D1 coach and you're afraid you're going to fuck it up?
Kind of.
Damn, that was a little harsh.
I think it went very well. Just, you know, it was our first one. Second one. So we're still working out some kinks, but I think each one that we do is going to be better. So
yeah, I think the nerves are more from me from the standpoint of please let everything work, be it both video and audio, because this is the first time. It's only our second interview, but the first time we've gone remote, quote unquote, with it to a different location than the WW Corral. So my biggest concern was just not having something not breaking and everything working properly. And then from there, once Coach said the first couple of curse words, I was like, all right, we can all kind of take the edge off a little bit. This is going to be pretty fun and pretty laid back. So it was a good time. But yeah, obviously, thank you to Coach and for UNO for hosting us, leaving the lights on at the field for us so we could have a good backdrop for a pretty good and pretty fun interview.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the interview, you know, he ends and you could tell he had a really good time. And, you know, he ends by saying, like, how about we do this every Monday? You know, I think Monday is his off day or his office day. And that was coincidentally the night we interviewed him. But it sounds like he wanted to make this more of a regular thing. And then when you know, as us, when you hear that, you're kind of thinking like, okay, is he just like rubbing or, you know, stroking our egos a little bit, or is he actually serious? Well, you know, Todd, Pat, and I went to the game on Friday night against Boston College, and they came across, had a big win. Ended up winning by one run, and then at the end of the game, we ended up going to wait to kind of wait at dugout. Usually, our boys like to fist bump all the players, stuff like that. And at the end, you know, he comes out at the end of the line and he gives us all hugs. And then he tells us that, you know, one of his best players wants to do the interview with us and all this kind of stuff. So he wasn't really, you know, blowing hot air. He wasn't stroking our egos. He was actually being pretty genuine about the whole thing.
Well, I think he was a little upset that we wrapped up kind of early because, I mean, if you look at the interview with PJ compared to the interview with Dax, one was an hour and 44 minutes and the other was like an hour. So I think he was kind of surprised that it was ending so soon because he was having such a good time with the questions.
Coach looked like he probably could have had like another hour with us, and he was just kind of like, he was very relaxing and cool with just shooting the shit, talking ball and stuff like that. He seemed like he was genuinely interested to talk sports and baseball with our passionate people. So hopefully we get a chance to interview him again, and if he wants to bring on any of his players or coaching staff or members of the athletic department to come in, that'd be I think that'd be pretty cool.
He wants to join the Wasted Wagons.
Shit, he just seems like a cool guy to go sit and have a beer with. I mean,
well, he even said, like, some of the stories, you know, as he's telling them, he's like, I don't know if I should say these on air, but off air over a drink, we could definitely do that, you know. So, yeah, just a real down-to-earth guy. We really appreciate him, you know, being open to having that interview with us. But I think all went really well.
Yeah, we've got some stories we can tell from our the game and from the interview, and not really. I'm not going to put him on the spot, but I'm just going to put a little tease out there. Todd has slowly. I don't know if he's got stage fright about being at UNO, but he's made some blunders or some really questionable choices involving his time around the UNO baseball team so far. I don't want to. Let's not get into for Friday night's story, but going back to the interview, something I was looking at when I was kind of editing it, and we do the intro, and Travis is doing the whole spiel and this and that. Todd immediately fires. The first question is, "Hey, so tell us one of the juiciest stories you got from being on the road." I'm like, could we get the background information on Coach first? Like, where'd you grow up? Where you from? Where'd you play JUCO ball? Todd's like, no, give me the juicy story right here, right now.
I just thought that was something funny to kind of open with, to kind of, if he had any nerves or if he, that could have really kind of settled him down to kind of tell a funny story from the road.
So what was it like in the showers? Is what you like asked them right out the gate?
I don't disagree with you. Just maybe not the first thing we say after the intro is, hey, give me a good story. Not like, hey, thanks for having, blah, 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 like that. But we're going to see how Todd progresses throughout the year.
Any scandals you want to talk about?
I think Todd did very well.
He did. It was just funny. The first thing that we hit him with after the intro was, give me a story. Give me something juicy.
Well, it was the first question on the questionnaire that we typed up. So.
Look, y'all did amazing. I'm really upset that I had to miss out. I am happy that y'all did tell him the story about Tom Glavine. So maybe that costume will resurface in the future.
I thought it was great that he played along with it. Like he starts telling a story about the Braves, and then he throws out the name Tom Glavine. Not even 5 minutes after we say it, it's pretty awesome.
I have a feeling that when he finally meets you, he's gonna be like, "Oh, so you're the Tom Glavine guy?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm the one."
It's like, who's that?
So again, we thank Dax Norris for having us, for allowing us to actually go, out to Maestri Field and interview him. And again, it sounds like he's down to do another one, much like PJ was. So I think that's pretty awesome as well. It sounds like a couple of his players are down to as well. And as we mentioned, as we're walking out, the players are walking out the dugout, and he's the last one there. He gives us hugs, and he tells. I didn't hear him say it, but Todd and Patrick overheard him say that. Tristan Moore is ready for his interview, so that could be one that's down the pipeline pretty soon.
2023 Southland Hitter of the Year.
Baddest dude on the planet.
We did reveal that nickname for Mitchell Sanford on the pod though, to Coach Norris.
What did he think about Mitchell Sanford? I mean, he didn't coach him, right?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, because he was the pitching coach for the last 4 years.
Oh, okay, as an assistant, yeah.
All right, so like I said, we were at the game on Friday, so we also want to give the Privateers a big congratulations because they were able to win 2 out of 3 in their series against Boston College, which I don't know how good Boston College historically is at baseball, but it is an ACC team, so I think that's pretty big, for a Southland team to quote unquote upset, an ACC team, even if UNO may be the better team all around. So that's pretty good. Now, we were out there. It was a Friday night out at the lakefront, and it was freezing temperatures. So, one of my friends on Facebook actually joked that it looked like we were watching the game in Boston, rather than in New Orleans. But chilly night on the lakefront, but it was nice to escape the cold with a W. Funny story from the other night. We actually are sitting there and watching the game, and then a group of college-age females come and sit in the row in front of us. And, you just kind of start picking up on their conversation. And, you can see them looking at their phones, and they're scrolling through the Boston College lineup on the Boston College baseball page. And you could tell, like, 1 or 2 of these girls were hooking up with some of the Boston College players. So that made for an interesting story, that night.
Allegedly. Let's just be safe so we don't get too bad.
But it was funny because, they're pulling up, scrolling, and like, oh, I think it's that guy. And then one of the guys comes up, and he actually looks in the stands and waves to him. And they're like, oh, all right. So that's the guy you're banging. All right.
Fucked Wolf in Ohio.
So yeah, it was a interesting, funny story to kind of add on to that.
Wait, didn't you say that night, like one of the girls' dads.
It was it was the guy.
Oh, the player.
One of the
player's
baseball
dad.
players' dads
Okay.
came up and talked to one of the girls that was in the group. So, but that wasn't the one that he was waving to. So I don't know what the story was.
So what do
behind
you
that.
have to offer to my son?
Hashtag wolf dick.
Are you in pre-med or psychology major?
Maybe he wanted some.
Third major.
So yeah, so good.
What do you feel about videotapes?
So all in all, funny story. Good night. Good win for our UNO. Sorry, not LSU. But we will be out at more games, and hopefully the rest of the crew can join us. Hopefully the weather will be a little warmer, so it's a little more enjoyable for us all. But definitely overall good night and a good start to the decent start to the season for the UNO privateer baseball team.
I even got a sweet hat too.
That's true.
I was
Would
happy
you like to disclose how much you paid for that hat?
Enough.
No. So Tulane and UNO here are now putting out Mardi Gras themed uniforms, and they actually look really cool. The purple, green, and gold coloring. So they're selling product for all these uniforms, and Patrick did make the decision to buy a hat while he was out of the game.
Hopefully the hat purchase is enough to help with utilities of any kind, something like that. That would be great. That my money could be spent.
Oh, so that's another funny story for the night that I don't know how we could forget this.
I didn't forget it. I didn't know if I wanted to really talk about it too much, but I was like, you know what, if it comes up, it comes up. Like, we'll talk about it, but whatever.
So in the first inning of this game, we're I think we're 2 batters in, so 2 outs, third batter up, and then the lights in the stadium go off.
Oh wow!
Oh, what?
So we're sitting there and pitch black. Of course, they had to hold the game, and it was probably paused for like 15 minutes or so before they got the lights back on.
The dugout lights were on. The lights in the press box stayed on, and the buildings surrounding the field had at least the floodlights on. But yeah, pretty much every light in the stadium that was shining in just went off. They didn't.
Any reason?
They didn't really make an announcement as to why, but then you could kind of hear someone tell coach like, "Hey, if they're resetting it right now, so just give it a minute, and they're going to kind of come back." But yeah, for 2 batters in first inning, lights just out. It was like
The ex-Superdome crew works at the maze now.
I was about to say that.
I think that was the joke I made. I'm like, was that like the Superdome for Super Bowl? But yeah, it was a 15-minute reset for the lights. It came back on. They were ready to play. And we were a little concerned at first because Grant pitched and he was doing well the first 2 pitchers, and then he had a small command issue for like an inning or so that we were kind of wondering like maybe like the time just sitting there waiting for lights to come back on kind of cooled him off a bit, but he warmed up and found his groove again and pitched really well. I've been tired. I think he went.
I think they pulled him in like the 6th or 7th inning.
6th top, maybe top 7. But yeah, we all got a little chuckle out of sitting there and kind of in the dark, like, well, this is ominous, huh? Right? Yeah.
I was wondering if UNO paid the light bill.
Well, I can tell you right now. Hopefully, proceeds from my hat purchase
It'll have a budget.
to helping that out.
Yeah. Well, Pat didn't disclose how much he paid for the hat, but it was pretty pricey hat. And
Yeah, I mean, if you go on like New Era's website, most of those hats are like $45-50.
Oh yeah.
Travis, did Pat pay for the light bill that night?
I think so. I think part of the proceeds went to the light bill.
It paid for February. Let's just say that. Yeah.
I hope what I paid for that hat. But no, it's a pretty sweet hat. I don't think if you haven't seen a picture of it. It's got a white front with a NO on it, outlined in Mardi Gras colors. The sides and back have purple and green on it. There's a Mardi Gras color fleur-de-lis on the back as well. One side says Nola's team in gold on it. So it's a really sweet hat. I was happy to pay what I paid for it. I just didn't know or expect it to cost what it did. And thankfully, my credit card information was not taken because the website I paid for was in French because that was the language of the lady that was taking my order.
No, that's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, I'm also hoping with this that it's a sign of what's to come for UNO as far as selling better product, because I really do need a new UNO hat. Lost mine in the house fire in 2020. I would like the blue one, with that old school, we call it now the New Orleans Renegades logo from the travel ball team. But I really like that hat back. So if they could start selling like the flex fits or the fitted hats that have that logo on it, I would greatly appreciate it.
Did I see a hat today at the party? The guy that had the NO on his hat looked like the NO on Patrick's hat.
I think that's a travel team called the Spice.
Yeah, I think
Is
so.
that what that is? I mean, it looked similar to the NO. I know. I didn't hold up
Not
my...
the Channel 52 Spice. The Little League travel team Spice.
Yeah, that's
Not to be confused.
that was Josh Sandoval. He's a coach.
I mean, I figured that's what it was, but it looked
His son
similar
was
to
shooting
the...
Todd in the eye.
Yeah, his kid would shoot me in the fucking face while we're in tug of war, with, like from close range with a Nerf gun.
He listens to the pod.
Oh, shit.
Whatever.
I didn't say it.
I didn't say anything bad. It's just kid was just shooting me in the face.
But did you fire back on the kid?
No, I mean I had a rope in my hand on the tug of war. I was winning this shit.
Oh, that's when it happened during tug of war.
Yeah, it was during the tug of war.
I thought it happened before that.
No, he'd come running up to me. I'm the first one in line. And he used to shoot me in the face. I mean, this close to hit my eye.
That's one way to win. I mean,
Guerrilla warfare. All's fair in love, war, and nerf.
Those sore loser little kids
This little bastard.
couldn't take grown men down. Come on.
They had to call in moms and other parents around to help them out. Smoke those fools.
Now, we mentioned obviously he was there at my son's birthday party. How cool was the tug of war?
I was not prepared for it.
it was cool, but yeah.
It was cool, but I was like, wait, what? Do I have to go do tug of war? And then all the dads and whatever, and the guys were on one side. I was like, all right, fine, let's go get this over with. But I mean, it was fine. But I didn't want to lose to those little bastards. So, more importantly, we got the dub. That's all that matters.
What was going on? They were adding more people to their side? Cause
I don't know, but at one point I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, because it seemed like it was really easy, and then all of a sudden we started getting pulling back. They were like, what just happened over there?
I remember seeing Jamie walk up to the kid's side, and she throws a hand motion for reinforcements, and then all of a sudden the rope just got hard as hell to pull, and we were getting drugged back the other way. I was like, what the is going on?
We also already thought we won, so a lot of people had stopped pulling, and then all of a sudden they start pulling again. I'm like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm. And then I was like, at one point, when did we just drop the rope and let the kids just drag, fall back on like that?
I was about to ask if y'all use the Squid Game strategy.
1, 2, 3.
Whoa.
So at the very end, we kind of just let the rope go, and they fell and whatever. But we were dominating, and then all of a sudden it just stopped, and then it started going their way. It's like, what the? And there was a lot of ladies and other kids that weren't there when we started tug of war. I was like, oh, they just went and got some more help. Okay.
Called in the reinforcements. But no, I was actually having a talk with Heather on the way home. It's a very cool concept, especially for boys, because there's not a whole lot of rules. The kids just run around. They can either play dodgeball, shoot themselves with guns, make up a
Shoot Todd in the face
With no
shoot
no
dads in the
safety
face.
eyewear.
or play pickup flag football, spacewalks. There's a lot of cool things in there. So yeah, and it's a good thing is it's not a whole lot parents have to do. So okay, go.
Go.
You know why?
Go on your way.
Because the guy, the co-owner, he engages the kids, gets them out there, does different activities with them, and I noticed
That was
all
him, the guy working
parents-
there.
Yeah, all the parents, super nice guy. Anyway, his name is Jermaine from Jefferson Indoor Sports. I noticed all the kids were just playing, and the parents were just mingling and hanging out. It's very very nice atmosphere.
They sell booze.
They do. So.
Speaking of booze, Mike's drinking a Strawgate or Tall Boy over there.
I am. Yeah.
That's an excellent segue into
That's the full.
what's everybody
That's
drinking.
the full Gator. over
What
there.
is everybody drinking?
We haven't done one of these in a while.
Well, I'll start with old reliable here. Shiner Bach. I bought the 12-pack of this for the Super Bowl. Still have a few left, so I decided to bring a few today.
Yeah, it almost looks like the FC Cologne logo. How'd they do today?
Tied 1-1. So anyway, but if we ever do a top five beers, Shiner would be at the top of my list. Shiner Bach.
If we ever win, when we do it.
Win. It's
When
coming.
we do it, yeah.
Sean, what are you drinking?
It's probably better than the Cage movies.
So I'm very low on my alcohol at my house, meaning beer-wise. And last night at the parade, I drank my last 3 beers, so I had to be creative. and I'm drinking leftover scatterbrain peanut butter eggnog from Christmas because you got to drink it sometime or pour it down the drain. I don't know. And I also have some rum and diet to go with this if I don't feel like drinking this the entire time. So, yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to replenish my beer supply this week.
I'll just keep the table flow going. I'm drinking Buffalo Trace because that's what I had left in my car from yesterday. So something simple.
I am drinking a delicious orange cream Coca-Cola Zero.
Is there any reason why you're not doing alcohol today?
Yeah, you know, like I might have drinking a lot of alcohol Friday and Saturday, so you know I'm just trying to take
Today's
it
an
easy
off
right
day.
now.
All
Yeah.
right.
What did you do, Russell?
I acted a fool out on St. Charles.
Okay.
White girl wasted.
Not quite this time. I didn't.
Oh.
I did not end up at the Mayfair like I did last year, and things were good. You know, there's still next week though.
Oh, so Michael, you've got a
Yeah, obviously, the Travis mentioned it already. Abita, Shargator, the tall boy.
Patrick would probably rather you have it in a paper bag than the koozie you're using.
Yes,
Why would you?
Probably
why Would you
true.
say that?
You see his koozie?
I thought I had a different koozie with me, but yeah, I don't give a fuck.
No.
It's just because it doesn't keep the can completely cold. That's all he's trying to say.
Todd, are you trying to insinuate that I would have a problem with his koozie and or anything on his koozie? And if so, please tell me why you think I would have an issue with that. Do you know my stance on life with certain things? Or you were just making assumptions?
I mean, the koozie's black.
That's not. I don't think that's what he's going to be too worried about.
And on that note, so Las Palmas
That's not
played
Todd's team.
Barcelona.
Well, we haven't gotten to what Todd's drinking yet, so let's first find out what Todd's drinking that gives him.
I don't know. I thought that had something to do with
the
the koozie.
confidence to come at me like that. And now I'm here for the fight that he probably didn't want to have.
I thought that was a segue for the koozie. I don't know.
Not yet.
Las Palmas.
It's not a Las Palmas
What's
koozie.
Unión Deportiva Las Palmas de Gran Canaria.
I'm drinking Diet Pepsi and Malibu.
So the Malibu gave you the liquid confidence, huh?
Yeah.
Malibu and Diet. Pepsi. Good choice. I like to mix
So
with
I'll-
Pepsi Zero.
I'll ask the class to clear out for a second so I can have a one-on-one with Todd because apparently we got something to hash out. Todd, do we?
No, not at all.
You sure?
Should we have our own separate segment for this?
I'm gonna do a what? Yeah, I'm gonna do a what grinds my gears.
Is it going to be Todd?
Yes. it's going to be Todd's passive aggressive, playful fights that he wants to have with me, and then I let him slide.
Well, I'm not standing up for either of y'all, okay? But you did start the segment by kind of hating on Todd a little bit with the Dax Norris interview.
You know, this, Mike.
It's
this,
kind of payback.
Mike,
just saying.
Mike. What I started with is
observing.
Mike. It's payback for all the times Todd has made my life as a producer, editor harder.
This is true.
So you know what? I've got payback for him.
Am I
So-
really the one that makes that harder?
No. You used to.
I think that'd be the other
The gentleman
gentleman.
sitting next to me might be the leader in that category.
I've got payback for him too. Okay, so it's not just you. I got a whole separate thing for Mike whenever I need to. So, but we finally got Todd out of his banging on the table addiction. So that's less work for me. So I thank you for that. And now Sean's on the list.
All right.
Oh,
So
pardon me.
that we've gone through and everybody's drinking. Before we fully move on from sports, we got a couple more sports-related topics. The last time we actually had a normal episode of our pod, a regular episode of our pod, it was Super Bowl Sunday. So a lot has obviously happened in the NFL since then, including our New Orleans Saints making their head coach hire. And they decided to go with the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, Kellen Moore. What's everybody's opinion of that?
I like it. All right, moving on.
I think it was a great acquisition there. Exactly.
Exactly.
He just came from a Super Bowl win. I I think he's going to bring in a lot of players that might have thought twice before. I think it's all around good. I mean, we've seen the staff that he's trying to build around him, and it it's screaming maybe a playoff team next year.
What?
All right, that was a joke.
I mean, for us being the last ones to get a head coach, everybody else was signing, willy-nilly. I think it was, best we could have done. Not saying he was a consolation prize, but, we held out, and I think we got, a good one for waiting as long as we did.
From all the names and candidates that I think were out there, I think he's the best of what is available. So, I mean, my only concern with him will be just his first year as a head coach and how he's able to command a locker room and motivate a team and keep them cohesive and gelled and wanting to play hard. I don't have a real concern about his offensive acumen. I feel like he's been in two pretty good, both high profile and high pressure situations, being the OC in Dallas and then in Philadelphia, with good quarterbacks, so that he knows how to build an offensive game plan on a week by week basis. I think he's pretty good at that. So it's more going to be just the macro of how does he organize the team, how does he run things, what's his, I hate to say the word culture, what kind of culture he wants to develop and bring in, the attitude and the mental toughness and things like that. So that's my only concern with him. But I don't really have too much worry about it.
Obviously, being an OC is way different than being a head coach. So he might have been a great OC, but let's see if he has that culture and the strong will to get those players in line.
Right.
But I think he's made the right moves as far as hiring Nussmeier as the offensive coordinator and Staley as the defensive coordinator. I think my only concern is, do we have the personnel for him to make it work? Because, I mean, right now, looking at last year, I don't think we do. I think it's going to take probably at least 2 years to get this team really rolling.
And I think that was, I've been saying it for a little while now. I think that with any head coach that we hire, I think Gail and Mickey have to sit and look at this team and say, hey, we're not contenders right now. We can't get pissed off at a coach through their first year. And if they go, 1-16, we can't fire the guy because he's not walking in set up for success. So I think any coach that they bring in, you have to go into this with at least like a 3-year leash here to say like, hey, we need to start seeing improvement at least by year 2, and then by year 3, hopefully significant improvement. But I like the hire for the fact that, one, I think we need that change from a defensive-minded coach to an offensive-minded coach. I like giving a young guy like him a chance. So, and you're coming off of a Super Bowl winning offense. So I think there's a lot of positives here. He kept a lot of cohesion together. He brought a lot of people from Philly with him. So I think that the coaching staff is getting set up properly. It's just going to be a matter of time over the next couple of years to see what kind of players they put in place to help him win.
I mean, what do we think we're doing at quarterback? I mean, does Carr stay? Does Carr get traded? And if Carr does get traded, is it Rattler that's going to be starting? Do we draft a guy?
I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see Rattler start. I think they're going to probably draft a quarterback, and I think they're going to try to find a way to get rid of Carr. I don't think Kellen Moore is sold on Derek Carr. Now maybe there's no takers. Maybe we're stuck with him, but I think if I'm picking inside of Kellen Moore's brain right here, I think they want Rattler right now just to kind of give him that chance to be a starter one more time. But I do see a potentially high drafted quarterback in this draft.
If they weren't so over the cap, I would think they would keep Carr, but they need money any way they can get it.
Yeah, so. Look, another one is Cam Jordan. I think Cam Jordan's going to be a cap casualty. As much as he's a fan favorite here, I think we're looking at the contract he has, and he's making too much money, hurting us against the cap. Unless he takes like a big restructure and we sign him to like a 1 year, Saints friendly deal so he can retire. But he's another one that's probably going to go just because of how bad he's hurting us against the cap.
If only we had a GM that was good at finding value in the free agency market to help with our cap situation and get a veteran on the cheap that can come in and help and not really hurt our cap space. going back to the quarterback thing, I obviously we don't know what's in his head and what he's thinking and what he wants to do. But if you're going to say have a quarterback for 1 year, let's say you draft a quarterback this season, and you think you're on a 1 year thing left with Carr, do you think it'd be better to play the veteran who you at least know what he's capable of? So instead of putting Rattler in, who I don't think is as ready to play at a high level like say Carr might be. Yeah. He might have a higher floor, but the ceiling is he might have a higher ceiling, but the floor is also higher compared to Carr. Why put Rattler out there if for both of them you're only going to be they're only going to be a 1 year thing for the quarterback that you just drafted?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the way you look at a Rattler situation is that he's still young. If he doesn't work out this year, you can move on to a different young quarterback. I really think Kellen Moore is coming in with the idea that he wants this team to just be kind of like young on a rebuild. And that's just my opinion of it. But again, they could give Carr 1 more year. The biggest thing is that he just hurts our cap so much. Right.
And I'm not advocating for them keeping him. I'm just saying if we have to keep him, I would rather make him earn the large contract he's getting for this year versus putting Rattler in, and he could improve and progress a whole lot from last season to the offseason to the start of next year. But it feels like with both Carr and Rattler, we're on like a 1 year, just like you both might be going in a year. Yeah, I would at least rather see the veteran that we gave all this money to make him play it out, and maybe if he plays out enough, some team will they may take him next year or something like that. At least show some value in him, so that if we have to trade him or move on from him, maybe there'd be something to get out of it, or maybe a quarterback gets hurt during the season and we can trade him to him for dirt cheap. We don't have the fucking cap space to do much of anything in the free agency market from a QB standpoint. Like,
what are we under 60 million or something like that? Or?
It's 58, I think.
58. Yeah. It's ridiculous. We're not going to.
It's the highest in the league, I think.
Yeah. And where it's not even close. I think it's like by 20 million.
But aren't they talking about increasing the cap?
The cap is going to go up, yes. They don't have a definite number on how much.
Still probably won't help us too much.
But we're still going to be probably north of 30, 40 million over with the cap going up. So, again, the GM's going to have to get really creative to find some deals and players, or we're going to start losing some players to offset that number. But honestly, I just chalk it up to we're going to be not good enough next year because of the cap situation that they put us in.
Do you think Mickey cares, or is he just riding it?
I'm sure he cares to a degree, but there's been no evidence that he has been competent enough to turn it around and fix it.
And there's also nothing showing that he's ever going to get fired. So why would he care?
Nope.
But just go back to Patrick's point real quick about Derek Carr, is that if we do hang on the Carr 1 more year and just kind of ride him out, and we're bad enough, maybe we are in that Arch Manning sweepstakes, which would be pretty nice to start fresh with a guy like that.
I mean, honestly, Carr is like the win now quarterback. Not that he's a stud, but if we were in a win now mode, that's why they got him in the first place, thinking that we were going to ride the Sean Payton roster and do something with it. So, I mean, Rattler would be the one that makes more sense of just like, not saying like put him in because it'll make the team tank more, but, he's a lot cheaper. And it's like we put Carr in, it's like, what's it going to do? I mean,
I think we've already kind of been down this road before, though, as far as, we're not a Devontae Adams away from winning the Super Bowl. So I don't think there's any win now happening.
But then do you... Where are we drafting this year?
I think we're 9.
9, yeah.
Okay. Do you try to go get a quarterback at 9, or do you go fill another? Do you maybe go get the replacement for Cam Jordan?
I
in the first round, or
I think you go D-line first, and then
maybe O-line second, because that's also a problem.
Yeah, I don't think with Rattler, and especially if you hang on the Carr. I mean, I think it becomes different if you trade Carr and you're able to get maybe some draft picks for him. But yeah, I think right now, if you're hanging on the car, you just hold out on quarterback for a little while. And I really don't think any of the quarterbacks in this draft class are that good. Like none of them. Wow, like Jackson Dart is apparently now up in the same conversation as Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is because one, there's no stud standout like clear cut number one. Like there's been, like even last year, you had two incredible quarterbacks taken first and second. So these quarterbacks don't feel nearly as special as those two. So a guy like Jackson Dart that has shown you a bunch of flashes of really good quarterback play and has a good strong arm and is mobile and athletic is very appealing, but you also see the poor decision making sometimes. Like the game against Florida, he didn't single handedly lose Ole Miss that game against Florida, but he had two crucial interceptions late in the fourth quarter that either gave Florida the lead or sealed Florida winning that game. So he's an appealing prospect, but he is extremely far from polished. But I think if you're going to hold on to Carr because you have to, then you go take a O lineman and a D lineman, because no matter what you do, look at the Super Bowl. If you can't protect your quarterback, it doesn't matter who you have at quarterback. Definitely. You can have freaking Jesus back there, but you can't protect him, and he's getting sacked and pressured at the rate that say like Mahomes did with no actual blitzes. Then it's not going to matter who you have at quarterback, be it a rookie or an aged veteran or whoever. You can't protect him. So I would say D line and O line have to be the number 1 and 2 picks for us.
I agree with that. But I think we still need another really good receiver. I think Shaheed is decent, but I would love to see another. And this could be somebody not from the draft. This could be somebody from, maybe pick up in free agency a good receiver.
Well, I also think you need another receiver because Chris Olave can't stay healthy. I mean, he's had about 10 concussions in 2 years.
I actually saw his name come up on the trade block as far as somebody that the Saints could potentially trade and get a lot of picks for, just because of his concussion issue and the fact that other teams might want him and the Saints may be able to get a few picks out of him. I wouldn't be a fan of that because I like Chris Olave, but at the same time, I do want to see the Saints get better too.
I think Chris is a concussion magnet.
Yeah. Well, what would give you that philosophy?
I was watching games.
Only his 6 concussions.
Who has more, him or Tua?
Tua.
A lot of these haven't looked nearly as bad as some of the ones Tua's had. But
yeah, I'll give you that.
No. Well, does anybody have anything else they'd like to add on the Kellen Moore hiring before we move on?
No, let's just hope it works out.
Fingers crossed.
Bring us a Super Bowl.
It was nice actually seeing him out and about. Not necessarily sports related, but I saw him. He was sitting at the Pelicans game that I was at, so he's trying to get acclimated to New Orleans culture, and it's really good to see that.
Yeah. Do you think he can grow a beard?
Do you think he has pubes?
Was that question specifically asked to Russell? He looked like he caught.
Are you trying to say something?
No, I was just saying it doesn't look like Kellen Moore can grow one.
I don't know. Poor guy. I hope he could grow a beard.
You know who we didn't see around town in the last couple weeks and months?
Dennis Allen,
Derek Carr.
Mm-hmm. And let's just say this. So I actually really used to like the name Kellen. This was about the time we were having kids, and it was because of Kellen Moore. Back when he was quarterback at Boise. And Derek, he beat the living piss out of Derek Carr in college when he played at Boise, and Derek played at Fresno. So
Kellen Moore was a stud at Boise.
So there's a lot of history between them as far as that, and again, I think Kellen was very quiet on answering questions about is Derek Carr his quarterback. So I think I'm not sold on him coming back. But
Kellen Moore has an award named after him. In the Division II, whatever the hell, it's the Kellen Moore Award now because he won it 2 years in a row as the best FBS quarterback, whatever the hell.
Didn't know that.
I think isn't he the most winningest or something like that?
Probably in Division II or something like that.
I think he's the most winning.
Boise's D1 though.
Yeah.
Did he transfer from a D2 school?
Maybe.
Or whatever the hell it was, but there definitely is a Kellen Moore quarterback award.
look that up.
Was he a JUCO bandit?
Gonna fact check it.
Anyway, while Sean's looking that up, we're gonna head on into a different sport.
Licking that up.
Well, since we finished up some talk about the Saints hiring of Kellen Moore, we're going to talk about a frenzy that just recently swept the United States of America and the sports world. The Four Nations face-off, because the United States got to reignite a rivalry with the Canadian hockey team, and they actually put together two really good games against each other, one on a Saturday and one on the following Thursday. First one going the way of the U.S. and the second one, unfortunately, going the way of Canada. But all in all, like, you know, it's good coming off of this, because we're coming off of the latest episode where Russell picked his Colorado Avalanche as his hockey team. But I really do feel like this event, this Four Nations face-off, which one, let me just say, like, I feel like it was so much better than an All-Star game, and y'all can say agree
without question.
So. But I do think this drew a lot of public attention to hockey in America, you know, something that not a lot of people, you know, give enough props to in the NHL. But yeah, I'll let y'all go ahead and say what y'all feel about it.
Because, I mean, I wouldn't even say this is even remotely comparable to an All-Star game, because it almost feels like it was like a mini Olympics.
Oh, definitely.
You know, we've talked about how bad the NBA and NFL All-Star games or the Pro Bowl are. The NHL, I'm not really that big of a fan of either, because they basically break it up into divisions and they pretty much only pick like one All-Star from every team. So it's kind of stupid. So if you have two guys that have monster years, it seems like only one guy is making it. I thought this was a really cool experience because it was only 4 countries and it felt like it was a little mini Olympics inside the season. And they gave the players off, so it wasn't like they had the players off for 2 weeks, so it wasn't like they were simultaneously missing games that were going on during the season. And it was fun to watch. It was very, very intense. You can tell that both America and Canada wanted it. So it was a fun game to watch.
Yeah, man, like that's where you know, Todd hit it nail on head. It was like mini Olympics. Like these guys were playing very passionate for their country. And it made for very exciting. Well, both games were very awesome, very intriguing, pulled fans in. First game, like I said, went the United States way. We ended up winning 3-1, especially after they opened it up with a Connor McDavid goal. So it was a nice comeback, 3 unanswered goal victory.
And of course, it was McDavid that clinched it.
Yeah, so he opened it and started it for him pretty much between the 2 games. But you know, what do you guys think, Mike? Or less, what do y'all think?
America.
Yeah, as a casual fan, what do you think, Mike?
Mike, did you watch any of the games?
Yes, I watched both.
Mike actually looked like he had it on at work.
Yes, I did.
He did. I will give him that. He did have the game on. He sent a couple of pictures in a group text.
So what caught my attention is it struck my patriotic chord when Canada booed, I should say the Canadian fans booed the national anthem. And I was like, oh no, you know. So I got into it. I got into it for a different reason.
Of course.
When you know.
So would you say you get a slight chub when you see the Kachuk brothers?
A little bit. You know, I know.
But you don't get a chub for your Golden Knights anymore.
I know Pat is a Kachuk
your Golden Knights
fan.
Whoa, what?
Aren't you? With the Panthers, and you know,
I'm okay with.
Patrick said that he would like that. He wouldn't mind. He'd be a fan if he was playing for his team.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't love Matthew. I get why Matthew is Matthew and why some people love and hate him. But me personally,
He probably rakes.
I'm sure he does. But no, the Kachuk brothers, we know what they are. And they get under your skin, and that's fine. They're one of the he might be a douchebag, but he's our douchebag if he's on your team. But I like his team, the team he plays for. I'm like the Panthers because of the podcast I listen to that's based out of Miami. But Kachuk himself, yeah, I don't hate him, but he's certainly not one of my favorite players.
Yeah. Anyway, you know, he played for Team USA, and you know, the game in Canada, it was just, I don't know. I think it was kind of a little bit uncalled for. It was unsportsman, I believe, by the fans.
Where at in Canada? Was it in Quebec?
It's Montreal. Right?
Montreal.
Okay, so Quebec, bunch of dickheads.
High five.
High five.
High five.
Hey, buddy.
But
I mean, Canada hates
so
Quebec.
in the second game, right? So all this shit went down. In the second game, I have to admit in the Boston game, they were very classy fans. I didn't hear any booing.
I'm going to slightly disagree with you because they did make an announcement before, and they said like
did.
let's
But still, I mean,
but you still heard some fans booing. But again,
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was uncalled for based upon what we experienced.
Yeah. I mean,
From
I didn't take it as
Boston.
booing. I think I heard some grumbling in the background. But anyway.
It wasn't booing; it was grumbling in the background.
Would you care to differentiate between the two?
Rebel.
It was nice to see the city of Boston and Boston fans direct their hate in a different direction than the ways they normally do. So that was pleasant.
So
Towards a foreign land, not their own.
it was unfortunate. It was unfortunate that we lost. But I do got to say, as not a really big hockey fan like y'all.
Somewhat casual fan.
Hockey fan.
Very
It was
casual.
it was really good games. It really
they were.
was. And you could tell the players really gave it all. Like they weren't concerned about the booing. Well, maybe the first game, but in the second game, nobody really cared about anything. They wanted to go out there and freaking win, right? And it was a great game because of that. And look, Canada, you won. Congratulations. That's all I got to say.
At least they won something.
But still, you know what? America.
Yeah, I think that was exactly the game two. But which one? I don't understand. I think there should have been a game three since we won the first one. But at the same, I guess that was against
The way it
rules
was
there.
set up.
But at the same time, I think that game two between U.S. and Canada, the championship game, gave the fans what they wanted to see. It was an overtime game. I mean, it was a hard-fought battle all the way through. And again, I think from a standpoint of the casual hockey fan who does not watch the NHL on a regular basis, this potentially could have brought more fans to the game. So,
Who was the USA goalie?
the U.S. goalie was Cal Hellebuyck from the Winnipeg Jets.
That dude is insane.
Yeah,
he was
played-
really good.
He's arguably the number one goalie right now.
he
in the league.
he was.
If you remember the last time when in the Olympics when Canada played USA in the gold medal match, who was the goalie then?
Was it Ryan
It
Miller?
was Ryan Miller, and he played out of his fucking mind during those
Yeah,
Olympics.
I want to say Hellebuck only allowed like 4 goals through the whole tournament, so it was nuts. So anyway, but yeah, he played really well.
But were you two like silently high fiving each other though when McKinnon had his goal? I mean,
Russell told
I
me
don't-
it was.
McCarr was there too,
I didn't text anyone. I don't think about other than the group text about it, but I'll let Russell go first.
and Devin Taves was there. They had a bunch of Avalanche.
I'm going to be honest. I did not watch it at all.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm a terrible hockey fan. Coming right off of our last get together, picking my hockey team, I should have been all amped up. I actually really did want to watch it. This is the first I've kind of heard about hockey stuff going on, coming across my social media feeds because I don't typically look into that stuff, but I'm still kind of getting targeted with that. No shit, it might be because we talked about it last.
yeah, people might be
podcast,
listening.
and
Yeah, People
Amazon
must
was
be
definitely listening. So.
The algorithms that
Yeah.
work.
But no, I'm a little upset with myself because I would have enjoyed it. I like hockey. I don't know if we're going to talk about the rumors being spread about potentially getting a hockey team down here, but I'm definitely really excited about that.
Yeah.
What do y'all think they're going to be named? What would be a good name for a hockey team down here?
Brass.
I mean, why not? I got my little shadow box over there
Right.
full of brass shit.
So I guess we can go ahead and segue into that topic since it's related. And
Can I talk about my experience first?
Sure. No, we'll hold off on that.
You know
Pat,
what?
go
Yeah, I
ahead.
can save it for later. I'll go last.
No, go ahead. Is this on the Olympics? Go.
Put me in the back of the bus. Why don't you? So I loved the games themselves. They were great. Obviously, with all 4 of their nations, there was star power on every team. Even Finland had players that if you're any more than a casual hockey fan, you've recognized them at that. The games led up to it. I did not pull for Canada, though there were multiple, I think at least 3 Colorado Avalanche players for Team Canada. My biggest takeaway was this felt like when anytime the U.S. does a World Cup or a big soccer tournament qualification, the national pride gets amped up and it draws in a lot of viewers that maybe don't follow the sport in any kind of regularity, or they only watch for certain events and things like that. But like it was nice to see a lot more people invested in the games because it's the USA and it had like that national pride kind of feel to it.
Absolutely.
So that was awesome to see. Hopefully the games delivered on the entertainment value for them enough for them to want to stick around to have another to just become more than just a casual fan and maybe kind of like Russell, find a team.
Yep.
If for whatever reason you pick them, just find a team and start watching the game because it's a great game to watch from a club level and a country level. You get to the Olympics, it's all awesome. So the games are great. Wish we would have won, but that final was incredible.
Oh, yeah.
And goddamn that McDavid for
win or lose, it was a fantastic game.
Yeah, absolutely. Proud of the way USA played. You knew they were a little outmatched, let's say, from roster top to bottom. But the fight and the hunger and the hullabuck kept them in the final. That game could have been a little bit more lopsided, I think.
Oh yeah.
But he stood on his head and played well and kept them in. The U.S. They're very talented. Let's not take anything away from the skill level of the Americans. Like we all understand that Canada has just waves and waves of talent on their team. So, but great tournament. Wish we had more. Can't wait to hopefully have it again. No matter what countries are in it, because the country pride that you see displayed is next level for all 4 of the countries.
So this was the first time them doing this?
Yeah, I don't think they've done it before. But I mean, you even see like at the TD Garden, they had guys dressed as like Ben Franklin. The dude, I think, shaved his head in the center, make it look like he was bald and had a wig. It was fans were like going all out for it. It's nice to see.
And just to kind of tap into like casual fans, Russell picking his Colorado Avalanche, Mike, formerly being a Golden Knights fan,
casually being
casually, formerly, whatever you want to call it.
Hey, Eichel was there.
He was. Yeah. So was Stone. Yeah. But it was nice to see people on Facebook creating statuses saying that they were watching, because it was people again you wouldn't see watching any NHL games or didn't know they were hockey fans. So again, the ultimate goal of this is just to spread that hockey is a really cool sport, and hopefully, we create more fans across the U.S.
And kind of tying in off of that, Russell kind of brought it up a second ago, the possibility, the rumors that were kind of going around and circulating that some investors were looking at maybe putting an expansion team here in New Orleans. I don't want to say I have mixed feelings about it. I'm just very cautious with getting my optimism up, only from the standpoint of, can we support having a team in terms of where they're going to play, fan support, things like that?
But you see, that's why I'm struggling to see it, because I feel like if an NBA team is kind of like struggling to make it here, I've had so many people when I post Shark stuff on my Facebook page say, "Why are you so into the NHL? It's a northern sport." So I mean, if basketball can't make it down here or struggles to make it down here and have popularity catch on, I really have trouble seeing an NHL team catching on down here.
I think the basketball struggle is more of
talent.
It's the quality of product.
The team. Not so much. Not that so much the team is bad. Our best player, quote unquote, is never healthy.
Is a slug.
So we never have a consistency to build the momentum on. But like what was it, a year or two ago, when we had both CJ, we had all three of CJ, BI, and Zion healthy, and I think the playoffs, like the blender was jumping, and it was awesome to go see the atmosphere because like if it wasn't sold out, it was pretty damn close to. So there are people that will go out and support, and there is a crowd for it, but like when you don't have your best player consistently and the team is bad because you're missing so many pieces due to injury, it's hard to have a rhythm and get momentum and fan support drum to go watch your games when you're getting blown out by two of the worst. We lost to Washington early in the season, and they are by record the worst team in the league, and we got drummed up by them, I think, in back-to-back games. So it's hard to...
I think they have a worse record than us, and we have 13 wins.
Yeah. But...
That's really all we got.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
13-43, I think.
That's UNO basketball esque.
But again...
UNO as a team?
a year or so ago when...
4 wins.
When we had Zion...
Yeah, we got uniforms and everything.
Yeah, for that playoff rush, the Smoothie Center was electric. I think I went to one or two of the games, and, like, it was jam-packed. Like, you had to get there super early. Like, the crowd and the buzz around the arena was huge. You'd see fans everywhere. It's just when the team starts to play bad, the fans stop going because the product it's one thing for the product for like players to be in and out and you're going on a losing streak. When you are in a perpetual losing streak because your players are not healthy, it's just there's no kind of coming back for that. But kind of like you, I'm skeptical of getting a professional hockey team here. I would not turn away and shy away from it. I would think we'd be better deserved to have like a high-end minor league team just to see if it works.
But I'm fine with going back to that. I mean, as you know, we had the Brass here. I feel like one of the biggest mistakes the Brass made was moving to the arena. They should have just kept it in the municipal auditorium because when you were there, you actually had, I don't want to say a packed house, but I mean, it certainly looked way more packed than it did in the Smoothie King Center because the Smoothie King Center is so big, it really can't support a minor league hockey team.
Right.
Or give justice to a minor league hockey team, I guess.
So if we had to name this team, I would go with something that I saw at the parades this weekend. It was the name of a walking group, which really caught my eye.
The Mandy Milkshakers.
The Dance Connection.
It was
The Gold Dusters.
the Bearded Oysters.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say the lady,
The Shuckers.
lady toe steppers.
The Shuckers. Yeah, the Bearded Oysters
The
was
Bearded
at Bad
Oysters.
Hatters last night. Yeah.
That kind of looked and sounded very naughty.
Well, we brought up the Brass, though, but I mean, if say we were to get an NHL team, I mean, didn't the Brass have to change their logo because the Blues said it looked too similar to theirs?
I think so.
Yes.
So, I mean, I doubt we'd be able to keep the Brass having the Blues still in the NHL.
I mean, I think you just have to change the logo to maybe not be so similar to theirs, but why couldn't you keep the name?
But see, the funny thing is they changed it. Okay, so I think I have pucks of two of the old logo. One's the green St. Patrick's Day puck, and one is the black one that one of my colleagues just gave me this past year. The one on the far right was the one that was changed to after St. Louis said it looked too similar. But I feel like that one actually looks closer to their old logo than the original Brass logo. So it's crazy.
Yeah, it definitely does look more similar than the newer one they had was definitely looked more like the St. Louis Blues one. But I'm gonna throw out one because the New Orleans Brass used to have an alternate logo with the Jester head on it, and why not have something called like the New Orleans Jesters or something like that?
I mean,
Well,
there is a
you-
travel team called
But you
the
have the
Jesters.
soccer team.
I was about to say, the soccer team
soccer-
does
they still
exist
exist.
right now, I think.
They still exist.
Do they?
I know they did last season, and they might be going, but I don't know what they have like a X number of year trademark on the name. But then again, the owner of their Jesters could lease that to them, so that's a possibility. But I know there is a team we do have a local team under the name Jesters right now.
Yeah, it comes and goes like Pelicans used to, but now it sticks with the team, with the basketball team.
I know there's like a independent league baseball team also in the Baton Rouge area called the Rougarou, which I think the Rougarou would be a really tight hockey name.
Yeah, I mean, you already have the Kraken, and the Yeti is a potential name for the Utah team. So why not just continue to make these mythical
Swamp donkeys.
cryptids?
I was thinking for
Something in the
professional,
swamp
it can't be
monsters.
as
Honey
silly
Island
as
Swamp
like,
Monsters?
is like minor league teams, because like New Orleans King Cakes, that wouldn't be a professional team.
No.
That would be what the Baby Cakes should have been.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Baby Cakes already got a shit ton of flack for that name. I mean,
Yeah.
despite the fact that the logo was actually cool as hell, I think there was so many people like, oh, bring back the Zephyrs. The Baby Cakes is a stupid name.
What if you took back the Zephyrs name?
Why not?
There you go. Make the Zephyrs the hockey team. Yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
I got the magnet. Bring back the Z's.
How about Zydeco with the boring ass logo?
It's already the Baton Rouge team, is it not?
It is. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, our logo is terrible.
They don't need to overthink this. Let's say we get a team, whatever, minor league, NHL, whatever. They don't need to overthink it. It's a very simple name to go with, and you have all the colors you want to work with. If it's not the brass, it's a miss, in my opinion. There should be it fits with the city, the culture, and everything. It's a home run. Everyone will love it. You can bring back the logo with the horn on it, and
the Jester. Use that Jester one as an alternate,
use the Jester, a king cake, the horn,
King Cake Baby.
the horn, with anything that
thing's
is
frightening.
New Orleans, and it's going to work. You can put the fucking GNO bridge as part of it. And guess what? If it's purple, green, and gold,
With or without the lights.
It's gonna sell.
yeah. If it's purple, green, and gold, or any combination of a cool colorway like that, it's going to sell. You're going to get. Just don't make it red, white, blue, and gold. Like stay away from the Pelicans colors. You don't need to do that. But you make something like a purple jersey with green striping somewhere on
just
it.
make it like Mardi Gras colors.
Mardi
like
Gras
Sean said.
colors.
Exactly.
Yeah, people will be wearing that shit everywhere. Oh wait.
Yeah. But again, you don't need to overthink it. It's a kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep the name simple. You know it worked. It worked back in the day. Keep the colorway
I mean, I still think
simple.
How
But
about how about the Jazz? Hey,
I still think the Brass have like a kind of like a cult following. I mean, there were people that were like really really into it. I mean, Travis and I mean, all of us kind of went to the games frequently.
yep.
I still think the bearded oysters sound better.
Bearded dragons.
The bearded clams.
So I know I left the room when you all were talking about this, and I'm sure I'm not going to say anything that was that different
The
from what y'all.
pussyfooters.
The clam purses.
The ham wallets.
I don't think. I don't think I'm going to say anything different from
Wow.
what y'all were already saying. But yeah, I think I must have had about 10 people message me. You know, what are your thoughts on this? We know you're a big hockey fan, so what are your thoughts on New Orleans getting the team? And my response to all of them were, "I'll believe it when I see it."
Sure.
You know, so there's a lot of skepticism there. You know, it's just the matter of whether or not our fan base will support it. That's another thing. So even if it ever did happen, will the New Orleans people support a pro hockey team? So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of question marks. I'd be excited. You know, and the question that I want to pose to y'all, you know, go around the table with this one, is the big, I guess, doubt I have is, you know, now that I've been an LA Kings fan since I was probably 8 years old.
I was thinking the same thing.
So now I'm so entrenched in that fan base. You know, what happens when we get a local team? Do I change allegiances? Do I have to try to follow? You know, hopefully the New Orleans team would be in the Eastern Conference, so I have an Eastern Conference team and a Western Conference team. You know, I don't know. It's going to be hard for me to turn off my allegiance to the Kings just because we have a local team now.
But then you wouldn't want them to play each other in the Stanley Cup.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, I have a tattoo of the shark's fin on my wrist. So I mean, do I have to get a New Orleans brass or a ham wallet
I guess you got to
tattoo on me?
You got to
got
paint
another
over that with a
wrist.
jester head.
Wait. How much do you get a ham wallet tattoo just in general? What would that cost me?
That name had me laughing for like the past 5 minutes.
I know you're tears over there, but how much would it cost me to get you to get a hand wallet tattoo somewhere on your body? I don't know what a hand wallet would look like. Oh, I have an idea, but I'm saying I don't know how you would draw out the design. But
It depends how cool it looks, though. I
'Cause,
mean, I think it would all depend on the design.
my first thought was it would look like a fleshlight. And that would be the hand wallet.
Could be like a wallet opening.
I'm just saying.
Oh, look, nowadays teams come out with like 3-4 logos, so you can pick which one you like the best. But no, seriously, like
Chris Gianelloni, if you're listening, draw us a ham wallet.
What would the colors look like? Pink,
black. Would it have
Pink, brown,
Pink on the inside.
Would it have eyes with a clit as a nose?
Would it have a mustache?
Or a mohawk?
Oh boy.
Anyway, I know
Team landing strip.
this conversation is getting derailed. But seriously, Russell just picked the Avalanche as his team. Pat's an Avs fan. Todd's a Sharks fan. Mike is a casual Knights fan. I'm a Kings fan. Sean's been kind of off and on with a few different teams. But like, how would you guys feel, with the New Orleans team now, compared to the team you've been following for a little while?
I feel like it would be really easy for me, considering I literally just picked the team. I mean, I feel like that's given, right?
We just have to put Russell's episode in the archives.
No, I don't think I would try and stray away from Colorado, though, either, because, I did my research when I was looking into it, and I'd really like to kind of, follow along and see how they do each season after that. But, I'd probably prioritize New Orleans at that point.
Yeah, I definitely would, since I'm kind of all over the place right now with the team, so...
I think I would get behind the team.
Obviously.
Get behind the team.
We've talked about this many times about the brass and me going to the brass and how fun that was, and I think that can be doable and achievable again. Get the kids behind it and everything else, but we'll see. I'm doubtful too that that's even going to be a thing.
I feel like it'd be.
I don't think this market is going to support, a major.
I thought the same thing
about
about NBA, and here we are with the Hornets and Pelicans for 20 years. So
that's true.
Where would they play though? Because obviously, one of the reasons why the brass left was because the Hornets came in and kind of booted them out of the arena.
But plenty of teams work with basketball teams and hockey teams in the same arena.
yeah, they're going to have to.
Yeah.
To be Smoothie King Center.
Yeah, the dome is too big, and they probably want that for the dome only. It would have to be the arena. You're not going to go build anywhere else. Because I don't know what land you would have available that was to be close enough to get.
There's plenty of land in the east.
Let me finish my statement. Dude, there's not enough.
Plenty of jazz land.
There's not enough land somewhere that you're going to get someone to want to drive to. Because I tell you sure as shit where I'm not driving to go watch a sporting event. The east.
What's that park that's going to come out there? Bayou Entertainment or something like that?
I don't know about that, but Travis, to answer your question, it's for me. It's kind of actually cut and dry. I will support a local team. They will never be my number one A choice because it's more, I guess, sentimental in the sense that Colorado, coming from the Nordiques to become the Avalanche, that was the team that I got into, that got me into hockey.
Yeah.
With the asterisks around, I always played with the Rangers on NHL 94. So that was my real introduction into hockey, was that video game. But the first team that I ever watched was the Avalanche in their inaugural season. And that's what drew me to watching hockey on a very consistent basis. So I will never deviate from Colorado being my favorite or my first team. But obviously I would support a New Orleans or local team as though they were my favorite, just to see them thriving. And I would wish them well. And I'm point blank honest, if this ever happened and they went into the Eastern Conference and played against Colorado in the Stanley Cup, I'm taking Colorado no matter what. I'm very loyal to my teams So there'd be it'd be like 1A and like a semi-distant 1B. I would support the New Orleans team as much as I could until they played Colorado.
I'm kind of the same way, though. I became a Sharks fan when my uncle gave me the Sharks puck from the 91 inaugural season. So it would be very, very difficult for me to kind of break away from the Sharks, but I still think the Sharks probably would end up being my number one. And
how funny would it be that if let's say this did happen, and like let's say pick arbitrary year 2027, how would you feel if within the first, like let's say they pull a Vegas, and in the first 3-4 years they win a Stanley Cup? How pissed would you be that your local team, who you now support in some capacity, is formed, plays, and has surpassed your Sharks in
winning a cup?
Yeah.
It'd be pretty aggravating.
I mean, if a team had to do that, I'd say New Orleans would be better than.
I mean, I guess that's a good point.
Than like the whatever
it's
the
a
Utah
local
team or
team
something. Like if the Utah team does it in 3 years or something.
Right, but being that his team has had so little success in the recent years,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering how pissed Todd would be.
Look, the Sharks have been they were really good for like a whole decade.
Yeah.
And then, you trade away, you let your captain walk, and then you slowly start to see the pieces just go away and your team get dismantled. And I think they're putting the right pieces in place now for the future, but I mean, they're still not going to be good for at least another 2 years. So yeah, it's kind of disheartening, but look, if Vegas can do it, I mean, an expansion team in New Orleans can do it.
I mean, I know my team has won 2 Stanley Cups, so I don't have the same problems as Todd. But at the same, I think from it being a local team, it would be a little bit easier to see than like the Seattle Kraken winning one before the Sharks, or the Vegas has already won one before the Sharks. But
yeah, for sure. I'm just looking at from like the Tide perspective, like a team that has been, like you said, not so great for a little while now. Just it's more of like entertainment from my mind, like how Todd would react to a new expansion team that's local winning, and his Sharks hadn't in a while. So that's just me though. But
all right, so we're going to move on from sports talk here, and we're going to talk a little bit about everything that's going on in the New Orleans area right now surrounding the holiday of Mardi Gras. Todd, I'm going to pass this one over to you, since you actually wanted to talk about this segment, and give us your opinions on Mardi Gras. And then, anyway, go ahead.
So I'm going to say this right off the bat. I feel like Mardi Gras is the most overrated holiday out there.
Bro.
I'm going to give you my reasons, and y'all can give me the rebuttals. Go ahead, man. Press your little button. I mean, one...
Mardi Gras is overrated.
It is, because like I'm not really into parades, so it's like it's the same thing over and over again every year. You see the floats; a lot of them have the same floats in every parade. They don't even fucking change. But they come down the street, they throw little plastic beads, and I certainly don't care about. And the Metairie parades, I guess when I was younger, used to be a whole lot more than what they are now. Like there was more parades. There was just, I guess, more. The floats were maybe a little bit more elaborate. More people came out to see them. Now, I mean, that they've kind of dwindled down to nothing. Patrick is whispering something over here.
His whispering eye.
You want me to say what I was talking about?
Yeah, go ahead.
It just caught my eye that your headphones are on backwards. The L and the R are swapped out on your headphones, and I don't know why, but it just made me laugh.
I mean, I can hear fine.
I don't know if you can hear fine. It's just I saw it. I'm like the L, because mine have the little markers on it too, and I know the R is usually the right. It just I looked over while I was listening to you give your fucking soliloquy on why you hate Mardi Gras. And
he just reversed him, so he's going to like Mardi Gras now.
No, I'm still going to hate Mardi Gras regardless.
Anyway, I'm sorry, carry on. I didn't want to.
So when the parades are in New Orleans, I feel like of course the crowds are huge. His going backwards too.
Mike was checking to see if they were. He got a little concerned.
It was.
Travis,
I think mine are right.
So
Cord comes out the left.
So the thing with New Orleans parades is the crowds are huge. You got to struggle to find a place to park. You got to sit in traffic when you leave. If you're paying, like nowadays with Ubers, you're paying an arm and a leg, considering with the time of the year it is to just to Uber down there. And again, you're kind of catching the same thing. I guess New Orleans parades are a little bit better in the sense that you get more marching bands. It's just a more elaborate scene. But like
better throughs.
I just don't feel like driving down there, sitting in traffic on the way home, struggling to find a parking spot.
Struggling to find a place to piss.
I mean, my thing is I would rather use my week off from school to go see a different city as opposed to kind of seeing the same old that I see every year. Now, I do like king cakes. I like king cakes. That's probably my favorite part of Mardi Gras. But the problem is I don't need to eat it every day. So when you go to work, somebody's got like a different king cake every day. Here, you want a slice? No, I don't want that. So I don't know. I just feel like it's an overrated holiday. I don't care about the beads. I don't really care about the parades. I feel like the Metairie parades have kind of been watered down from what they used to be. And I feel like the New Orleans parades are just overly crowded, struggle to find a place to park, sitting in traffic. It's just, I don't know. It's more of an ordeal than enjoyable to me.
At work, when you don't take a piece of king cake, do you get the, oh, you don't like king cake?
You want to die?
I do. I just don't want to eat it every day of the week.
I'm a follow-up here.
You must be on a diet.
I'm a follow-up. So, for the last 21 years, I've had to work Mardi Gras parades.
Damn, you're old.
I know, I'm old. And I absolutely hate the shit out of it. For me, it's like, oh, overtime. That's good. You know, the money's good, but, you know, having to go out there and do it over and over and over. And the worst thing for me is at least you have the choice that you can, you know, take vacation or do whatever the fuck you want. Being off of school, I don't have that choice. I have to be there. It's mandatory for us. Therefore, you know, I'm in the same mindset. I absolutely hate it. Now, you know, I like king cake as well. You know, that's fun. And, you know, last night's parade was probably the best Metairie parade that I've been to in a while. Mad Hatters, they really did a good show, a good number out there. But I was at work. I was working, watching, you know, busy, whatever.
We saw Mike driving through the crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, I was out there, you know, whatever. Now, to change it up a little bit, I know we're going to continue on with this, but speaking of king cake, you know, the king cake hub that we've all talked about, one that's in Kenner, it's called Flavors. We went there the other day as a treat night to the kids. We went to go get ice cream because it's an ice cream parlor as well.
Where is it at?
It's on Chateau. It's called Flavors. Okay. They do king cakes. They do ice cream and snowballs.
They're not the king cake hub, but they are a king cake hub.
They are a king cake hub, correct. And it caught my eye. I walked in, and they had a picture of all the different sundaes that they do over there. And one of the sundaes that they create, because it is a creation, it's something amazing. It's the Dong Fong Sundae.
Oh.
And I have a picture of it, so I'm gonna share that with y'all. But I ate that Dong Fong Sundae.
You ate that Dong Fong?
It was.
You ate that dong?
It was like orgasmic.
It's made with bits of real Vietnamese.
Anyway, back to Mardi Gras. Russell, what do you think about Mardi Gras?
Let me reiterate what I just heard. You ate dong and it was orgasmic.
It was made of Vietnamese.
Wow.
Okay, back to reality. Man, I don't know what's wrong with you guys. Maybe it's just the way I was raised, but Mardi Gras is fucking incredible. It definitely has some drawbacks, and I definitely hear you with the traffic and like. There's a whole planning piece that I go through trying to get set up to figure out where I'm going to go, where I'm going to use the bathroom. But, man, it's just like rich New Orleans culture that I like never want to not be a part of. I used to parade in both Metairie and New Orleans. I haven't in a while. I'm looking to get back into it. My crews back then were Zeus and Excalibur and Metairie.
Oh, yeah. You going to join Zeus?
Oh, absolutely not. There's a lot of stuff that went down in the background that we won't get into here, but I will never be associated with that organization again.
I mean, I joined in 2019, so.
Yeah, no. But I have also paraded Hermes, Sparta, and that might be it over in New Orleans, but I'm looking to get into Toth, and I got a bunch of buddies that ride in it. They have a ton of fun. Riding's a blast.
Yep.
Like Todd was saying earlier, though, beads, they'll do it for me, but I'm not going out there to catch beads. Maybe it'd be fun to catch something that's large and glowy and walk around with it on my neck, and I'll probably just throw it away at the end of the night. But just out there having fun, like just shooting the shit with my friends, with other people. It's like, it's interesting. I was talking about it with the group I was with the other night. Everybody's like really polite, typically, at least. I know there's some outliers, but like everybody's really generous. Like, oh, your little kids. Excuse me. Your little child's next to us. Like, here, come stand on our ladder. Like, it's just a really fun, like, welcoming time for me, and I really enjoyed it.
Russell's like those little shits on the ladders.
Look, I've pushed a ladder and a kid off of a ladder before, so.
No, it's definitely, it's more about the people you're with. It's more about hanging out. I mean, for us, most of it, like us here with young kids, it's the kids having fun, with the throws more than us. And the throws have definitely changed. It's not about beads at all. It's all about, unless it's like a specialty, like super blinky light up giant bead or something. Like regular beads are just like, they just hit the ground and there's no point. Nobody wants just regular beads anymore.
I do feel like when I was younger, I definitely wanted beads. I wanted to have as many on my neck as possible.
Yeah.
And then my parents would be like, get rid of that. I'm like, no. But
y'all might remember I used to put every bead I caught around my neck, and it would like ride up the back of my head, and I would have to like choke myself to get them off at the end of the afternoon.
You wanted to be Mr. T.
Yeah. They definitely formed a scarf or a neck brace around my neck where I couldn't even tilt my head anymore. But yeah, it's for Mardi Gras for me. It's if you have a place to go. Talking about the parking, talking about the bathroom, meaning like the last handful of years for Endymion, it's like we have a house that we go to that is a block and a half off Canal, and then half a block on the other side is parking in front of the Lindy Boggs Hospital, which is surrounded by a fence because there's like COVID and rats that live in there, and it's priceless that there's these driveway inlets like where ambulances and things used to go into the hospital, and they come out to the street. People still act like they can't park in that. It's like, look at the hospital. Nobody's coming in that driveway anytime soon. And every year, it never fails. Go up Moss and all that, and then get to Mid-City right there on Bienville and pull right up and park in one of those things. And then I can literally see where I park to the house. Like I'm standing in the front yard of that house. I'm like, yeah, I'm right over there. And it's like, you can't beat that. If you have a hookup like that, that makes going to Endymion or one of the crazy parades, worth it. I mean, this year will be interesting because the people that live at that house, they set up like scaffolding down at the route. They go rope off an area and they put up these big old elevated things for the kids to stand on and stuff like that. And it's a pretty big, ordeal that they go through. I mean, I just have to like bring something or whatever. Like one year they even had crawfish being made. Like they even had like a crew, like these like 3 dudes with like matching shirts for boiling crawfish in the back. So hookups like that are like, if you have all that. Huh?
Were they God?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were God.
So that, and same with like Sunday is Toth Sunday because Sarah's uncle. Uncle, it's like family friends, not her actual uncle, but they come in from Baton Rouge, and he's got like a Hail Toth canopy that he would set up on the neutral ground, and like same thing, big old area of food, grill, all kinds of crap, and it's like you have all that. It's like a giant party. And again, if it's like yes, we do have to find a place to park, but then once we're there, I mean, we're like not even a block off of Magazine. It's between like Magazine and St. Stephen's Church, and last couple of years paid for a wristband at the school across the street to go pee as many times. So as long as you got all that taken care of, it's usually a good time. It's and you have all your alcohol you need, things like that. So, but yes, it's like other times if it's like you're shoulder to shoulder with people and you're being pushed around in a crowd and there's not like a go-to place. It's like I totally understand it being a pain in the ass.
I don't care for the throws and a lot of the other hoopla that goes with it, but they're kind of like Russell said, the atmosphere and the vibe is usually very good or cool. Just like you're around a bunch of strangers you don't know. Everyone's kind of partying and having a good time, this and that. It's usually just a good atmosphere and a vibe. So I enjoy a lot of that. The throws I don't care about. I typically only stand in a couple locations, so and it's strategic that I'm at a place that's either by a bar where it has a bathroom, or I'm with friends by a house that we have a bathroom. So I don't worry about that too much. Parking wise, the parking sucks, especially for me because a lot of times I'm coming straight from work and it's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon for like a weekday parade. So I have to park a little further away. Maybe I parked about a mile away yesterday and had to walk, which not really an issue for me, but I can understand if you're trying to hunt for parking, that it's a real pain in the ass. For someone who does not like crowds of people, strangers, being around strangers and talking to strangers, you would think Mardi Gras is not really my thing, and it's really not. But for the sake of the party atmosphere with my friends, I enjoy that. The beads, don't care about it. I'm there more for the bands than and maybe some of the lights and the floats design. But as far as catching stuff, don't really care. Now, with that said, Mardi Gras Day, I typically am going racing with some of my friends, or I'm working. And I prefer to work on Mardi Gras Day so I don't have to deal with Mardi Gras Day parades. Mardi Gras for me ends, if not in Endymion Saturday, on Bacchus on Sunday. Monday, I don't really parade because I'm working because I have work. Like my accounts are, or at least my Metairie account is right on the parade route, and I've got to get them stocked up and refilled and reshelved before the parade. So, and they're usually wiped out by the weekend. So, not that I dislike Mardi Gras, it's not my favorite overall because just a bunch of factors. But I do love the vibe of where strangers, people who've never met, just hanging out, having a good time. Maybe they're sharing food, sharing alcohol, and that. So that part I love. But I do get how it is frustrating to navigate from trying to get there, walk around, get around. I try not to put myself in those situations. I'm usually only like one or two spots where it's pretty accessible for me and pretty convenient to use the bathroom, things like that. So my Mardi Gras is a bit different, although I am with Russell kind of like on the general vibe of how it goes down.
If you have remember that, I don't know if y'all remember that year that Doug worked at the bank on Vets and he was able to get us in that gate. That was one of the best Metairie Mardi Gras because I could back my car up and open the hatchback.
Yeah,
and have it
until one moron we invited set the alarm off at the bank. But yeah, that was good. But I mean, it's similar to the setup we have at your house in Metairie. So, you know, it's not bad. Except now people tend to barricade off 3, 4, 5 people deep in chairs,
right?
So you're stuck standing in the back when you have little kids. But I'm gonna join.
Fucking blue hair is just you get my way, Sonny.
I'm gonna join Team Todd and Team Mike on this one. I'm not a Mardi Gras fan. I would much rather take my week off of working in the school system, to go to Disney World, something like that. Again, the throws all go in the garbage or go in a bag in the attic until I know somebody who's riding and needs to throw them. I do understand the idea of getting together with friends and having fun and drinking, but to me, I'd much rather be drinking with you guys on a podcast or drinking with you guys watching a sports game. I don't really need the parades. And the last time I do agree a lot with Todd said too. I think the New Orleans parades are significantly better than the Metairie parades nowadays. The only negative to that is there is no parking. Though actually the last New Orleans parade I went to was the Toth Sunday 2 years ago, and we had to park 30 blocks away, had to pay $10 to use a porta potty. I mean, the parade was nice, but the overall experience was pretty miserable.
Most lots will charge you $30 or $40 to park. You know.
Yeah, it's kind of like a matter of the logistics versus the I want to say fun having ability of it. That you got to kind of weigh out because I agree. If I were not with the group or around Henry's, where most of our friends go for the parade, and have access to a porta potty back there, it would be a lot different experience for me. Especially even for me getting down there, it's a struggle, and I'm okay with walking a mile to get to the spot, but I still have to walk a mile, so it does suck. So I totally understand what you're saying, and again,
at the parade, I'm the guy that's in the 5th row back from the crowd. Like I'm not ever going to be up front with the ladders and stuff like that, unless there's like a child and I'm kind of like supervising a kid. I'm in the back with some of the other parents or adults having beers, shooting the shit. I spent the entire parade yesterday in the back. You saw me there. Bullshitting with other people in the back. I rarely put my hand up like to counter catch anything. They throw something cool. If not,
you were out here in Metairie or you went downtown?
I was on St. Charles.
Okay. What was rolling last night?
The last parade was. What was the last one? Sparta was the second. Pygmalion was the last parade.
It was something Mars was before that.
Spartan, I think. And then Ferret was. I know. By the time I got down, Ferret it was midway through. But it was like 4 or 5 yesterday. But yeah, Pygmalion was the end of it. But yeah, we were on St. Charles and Constantinople. And my buddy has a house on Britannia, so we kind of just kind of go there, set up there, and then walk out to the route, which is like a block and a half away. So yeah, if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be down there nearly as much, I guess.
But no, I get both of it because I talked about Endymion and then Toth. I mean, Friday. Yet again is Morpheus Friday night. It's like Hermes, Morpheus. I forget, Morpheus is the last one. But my cousin used to ride in Nyx. Now she rides in Morpheus ever since Nyx had the big falling out. And I've yet to bring my parents to see that because my mom can't walk that far. And last year we tried to go there. It's this Friday coming up. And the closest we could get going down Napoleon was probably like 10 blocks away. Like a block or two over and about 10 blocks. And it's like, she can't walk that far. So after trying to park for 30 minutes to an hour, it's like, it's just not happening. And we drove back to Metairie and we went and ate at Acropolis and then looked out at the empty parade route to go, yeah, there's no Metairie Mardi Gras parades on Friday before Mardi Gras. How pathetic is that? It's like, there should be a parade right there and there isn't. It used to be Centurions.
When we were kids, they had a lot more parades.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It was parades Tuesday night.
Remember when we'd hang out at Parans and the banana PLSOB?
So, I was going to mention that, as much as I hate Mardi Gras now, when I was younger, circa 1990s, man, I used to love parades. And shoot, some of my friends used to sleep out on the parade route.
Yeah.
Just to be there and get a good spot. And, so it's a love-hate, man. It's a love-hate. And I think we all have those kind of stories. But, it's a thing we do down here.
We touched on it a little earlier, but I just wanted to highlight, for me, I don't have my own kids, so it's a little bit different for me. It's really easy for me to park 2 blocks or 2 miles away and then just gallivant, do whatever until I get to the parade route. But I also, I have my nieces, and it brings me so much joy to watch them just explode with emotion and get super excited when these floats come by and they're trying to catch stuff. And, that brings a whole nother level to it. And I can't wait to keep on doing that with them as they grow older.
Yeah.
Hopefully get to the point where they start riding with me.
And the throws have definitely evolved because last night the throw that all the kids were freaking out about was a cow. I think they had other animals, but it was a cow head thing that had the things that hang down, and you could squeeze the little handles, and it would make the ears move.
Squeeze
and the thing even lit up. We saw the people it lit up. It's like, oh, you could, and then press the button, and the whole thing lights up, and it's like that's not even close to a bead, but that's what they want now. It's anything blinky things, and the one bead that everybody loved was that my mom ended up paying Michael, Sarah's son, for. It was a kind of a joke thing where we all liked that one and ended up paying him Robux or something to get it. But it's rubber ducks on a bead, and it's they got bigger all the way down to a giant rubber duck in the middle, and all of them squeaked or whatever. And it was so many people walking by were giving compliments on this thing and oh, those are so cool, whatever. And it's that's not your run of the mill little 33-inch crappy bead that every parade throws.
I do want one more quick story. I have one of the best throws I have ever received. I was 7 years old. I did not catch it. I was out with my dad and his friends from work. The guy's name was Kenny. We were out at Tux. Somebody threw this small little Pope-like monk figurine, and I didn't realize what it was at first. But my dad and the guy Kenny were laughing their ass off, and He gave it to me. Again, I'm like 7. So what happens if you pat the little doll's head? His pecker pops out. I still have this. It's like in my china cabinet. It's one of my favorite things that I got when I was younger through Mardi Gras.
Pet the monk and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So Tux hands down has the best throws. Like if you go in my man cave, I have the little Tux plushie or stuffed animal, whatever you want to call it, about this big. And then also have one of their signature plungers up in the man cave too. So they definitely, and I actually thought about thinking about going that one this year because they actually really do have good throws.
Didn't you get like the little the blue ball fuzzy dice things also from Tux?
That was probably all the same parade too. And they throw one of their signature throws is toilet paper with crew of Tux on it. So yeah, they have some really cool stuff.
So we're going to stay local for a second. This kind of segment just popped up. Russell has a K&B themed hat. And obviously, if you listen to this podcast, you're probably local, so you all know about K&B. But Russell, you were saying that the hat is not from actual K&B, the drugstore. It's from a wedding you attended.
So correct. It looks exactly like the old logo, but and even when I was at this wedding, I was so confused. I was like, why the hell are they handing out K&B like hats? Like, what is the relevance? What's the correlation? My dumbass didn't realize that the bride and groom's names were Kayla and Brandon. So that was just kind of their fun giveaway item instead of having like to hold beer koozie kind of thing. But so I'm
copyright infringement.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that hat would be probably a top 5 wedding favor.
I mean,
to take back. That's pretty sweet.
I can't say that I actively use any other wedding favors, and I mean, I wear this hat.
I don't remember any other wedding favors from any wedding.
In my drawer of koozies, I have a stack of the wedding ones in the back, and it's like 5 or 6 of them from different weddings.
Who doesn't have a drawer full of koozies?
Yep.
I don't even remember, to tell you the truth, what we even gave out. So.
Yeah, so when Russell showed up wearing that hat, I thought he was wearing it because, as you know, we're in Mardi Gras season. So K&B was a local drugstore.
Purple logo.
So I was thinking he may be wearing that just to be festive, to maybe call it at a parade, one or the other. And he explained, no, it was I got it as a wedding favor for 2 of my friends. But every time I see that K&B logo, it kind of brings back, I guess, a story. Travis, when I first brought it up, was like, what was the most memorable moment you've had at K&B? And Travis was like, oh, I don't know, when we walked in there barefoot. And I'm like, I don't know, what the fuck are you talking about with that?
I didn't remember if it was K&B. I just specifically remember a time that Dad came and made us go, somewhere with him. And then we ended up, he ended up saying, like, hey, we got to go do... This was back for one of our great uncles needed something done at his house, and my dad was a handyman, so he went and did something for my Uncle Stino, and then I think he was watching us. My mom and sister were gone, so then he was like, "Come on, boys, I need y'all to get in the car. We're gonna go do something at Stino's house." And then neither one of us, I don't think, had shoes on, and we just got him. I said, "Do we need shoes?" He's like, "No, y'all be fine." So then we have to go to like a hardware store or something. So it was not K&B, obviously, because that's not hardware, but
Harbor Freight.
Neither one of us have shoes on, and
Ace
we're walking
Hardware.
around the friggin' store, and people looking at us like keep looking down at our feet. And like,
Are these kids homeless?
But that was just my dad and the simplicity. But anyway, so no, it wasn't KB.
I do have a story where Ross looked homeless, or my Big Ross, not this Ross. Where Big Ross looked homeless, but that's a story for another day. So when Russell wears that hat, every time I see the K&B logo, it brings back memories for me, because back when Travis and I and Mike, we all went to St. Mary Magdalene, now defunct St. Mary Magdalene.
Ain't there no more.
Ain't there no more.
With the thick librarian.
Wow.
Neither is the thick librarian.
I don't know what librarian Mike's talking about, but the one.
I mean, there is a school there. She might still be there.
The one in middle school was not hot.
She was thick.
I actually, in our entire tenure at St. Mary Magdalene, I don't recall very many attractive teachers. Maybe one.
Yeah, that was like maybe 1 or 2.
There are many thick librarians.
Wasn't the librarian. So back in 6th grade, the fad was stealing pens from drugstores.
The what?
Pens.
No.
like ink pens.
Stealing.
Like the Dr. Grip was like the big fine.
The fad. Like the fad. Yeah.
The fad, okay.
Didn't we have a friend that got caught?
I think we did because so basically kids would come to school and they would have these pencil pouches just jam packed with pens, and they were expensive ass pens. So Travis and I would go in K&B and we would just we would check in to make sure no one was looking. We'd be opening the packs and we'd swipe a few pens.
Klepto.
So
you're admitting to a crime right now?
Look, back my 6th grade self, we
I think the statute of limitations he says he's okay.
You criminal, you.
I remember having this
Bad
really
boy.
cool one though. It was like very very. It was almost like cigar-esque. It was thick.
It was girthy.
It was girthy,
Like the librarian.
but it had it was green and gold, and it had a pharaoh on it. It was just so cool looking.
I don't remember that Dr. Grip.
It wasn't a Dr. Grip. But it was stolen from K&B, the very logo that Russell has on his hat.
Man, I don't know about y'all, but I was into Pogs back like in 6th grade.
Pogs were
Pogs with a shit.
I had a whole shoebox full of Pogs.
The
What
slammers.
was that? It was like a breath mint stuff, but it was like a drop.
Banaka.
Sweet breath.
Sweet breath. Yes. There was a kid that I went to St.
They probably
Catherine
still
with.
sell that. We should bring that on the pod.
Should I be saying where I went to grammar school? But yes, there was a classmate.
Dude, it
Yes.
was like this little.
He
Like,
got,
it was almost like an eyedropper with like blue shit in it.
I don't. Yes, it looked.
Was it sour?
No, it was mint.
just really
It was just
strong.
straight
It was
mint.
really strong breath droplets.
It basically
you put
burned your tongue.
You put a drop on your tongue, and it's like ultra breath.
But that was a fad at Mary
Yeah.
Magdalene too.
Like talking about the pens.
St. Mary
Yeah, I
Magdalene.
had a classmate at St. Catherine that got in trouble with the Walgreens on Conifer for stealing sweet breath.
Dude, all right. Homework assignments now is we have to check the local drugstore to see if Sweet Breath is still available.
I don't think that shit exists.
Bring
Everybody
it
has a
on the pod, and we'll bring all 6 or 7 of them.
You can
on
just
the
go
pod.
ahead and follow that on Ain't There No More. I got a feeling.
So everybody's showing up with a stolen pen next pod.
But what Mike said,
They
there
don't
was
make the
somebody.
Dr. Grips anymore.
Dr. Grips, and sweet breath.
Mike brought up, he said, didn't somebody get popped for stealing it? Well, I remember one day the teachers came in and I think they took a kid's pen pouch that was like filled with pens, and they obviously knew something was up because all these kids had like nice pens and parents weren't buying.
So
them.
after that event where that kid got caught, it spiraled his life down the drain into a very deep, dark, very dark
Very good.
life.
It looks like you can still buy sweet breath. Just you can buy it.
not steal it.
Take some money from our podcast account and just order it right now.
PSA: the Wasted Wagons do not support theft of any kind.
I'm shocked that y'all
36 pieces, $24.99 on eBay.
I've never
Okay,
stolen.
maybe don't buy it.
I've never stolen anything.
Is
in
that
my
like a
life.
Sam's variety pack right there?
It's a box of
Let's explore this for one second. Mike, you've never boosted anything in your life.
Never.
Full of
Never
shit.
stolen a heart, a kiss, nothing. Pen, pencil, paper, nothing. Scantron.
No.
A crab cracker from Joe's Crab Shack.
Yeah, you motherfucker. You and Jamie were kleptos. Y'all stole a goddamn one of those little crab hammers from Joe's Crab Shack, and we even wrote our names all over it and everything.
That's not stealing.
Mike,
Those were complimentary, damn it.
Mike,
That was borrowing. Okay.
Mike,
We borrowed.
you are on air from a previous episode saying that you stole, or no, I'm sorry, your word was you took, but you said y'all took the crab cracker from the establishment. You were on air.
Clab cracker.
I think he even said he took like hot sauces and shit. I mean, and barbecue sauces.
I'm telling you right now, when I go through post and edit this episode, I'm gonna go find that clip. It might take me a week, but when I find that clip, I'm gonna flashback and post that in here of you kleptoing.
Please do.
Kleptoing.
You ain't no saint.
Okay, so it wasn't me. Okay,
Some other
it was
Mike.
Jamie.
The Shaggy twins.
It was 100% Jamie. It was not me.
Wow.
I have never stolen anything in my fucking life.
Like Shaggy says, just tell her it wasn't you. She
Jamie,
walked in.
if you're
She walked
listening,
into
Mike
you
just threw
banging
you
a.
under the bus.
Mike says you're a thief.
All right, Mike, start us off.
All right, honorable mentions. Okay,
So we're going to do honorable mention, Joe's Crab Shack. I love Joe's Crab Shack. As cheesy as it was, we used to go there a long time ago when it was here in New Orleans.
I got crabs.
And we used to get the coconut shrimp. And man, they had the best coconut shrimp. And not only the best coconut shrimp, it was the little sauce that you dipped it in. That was I haven't been able to find it anywhere else. It was like this chutney, coconutty, like I don't know, things that gods and goddesses fucking eat. It was amazing.
Mike.
Yes, sir.
I don't mean to cut you off.
No, Mike. Go ahead.
But the first time Todd and I ever ate at Joe's Crab Shack with you and Jamie, do you remember what happened?
You got crabs.
No, I don't.
All right.
I remember this pretty distinctly too.
You guys stole.
I was actually going to bring it up.
Did he
You guys stole two things from
Stealing is
Joe.
a pretty powerful word, sir.
But it's also accurate.
You borrowed two
Podiums
things.
Podiums are handheld.
Since Todd was about to mention this, I'm going to throw it out to Todd.
Maybe the hot dog?
Todd, do you remember the two things they borrowed?
I only remember one. It
The
was
hammer?
it was the mallet, and we actually even wrote I think all of our initials on it to break the crab legs.
That's my hammer.
And
That's
And
why.
and I believe you all took a hot sauce off the table as well.
That's
so
my hammer.
that tradition of borrowing started with Jamie's granny. Every time she'd go to a restaurant,
Stealing shit.
she was like a
mean
restaurant klepto.
I was like, what the fuck are they doing?
Jamie was like, "Oh,
She
sneak
would-
in my purse, Mike."
She would come home with knives and silverware and salt and pepper shakers and all kind of different stuff. So
It's okay. The statute of limitations is up on this.
yeah,
I think.
absolutely. And so we kind of started doing that a little bit, but we don't do that anymore. Yeah,
Allegedly.
those were the fun times.
So you said you borrowed it. Have you returned it yet?
You returned it.
We tried.
Well, you know, the place is closed.
Do you know where it's at?
Can you return it to any Joe's Crab Shack?
I don't know. No, probably not. It's got to be the one.
So Russell might appreciate this one. All right, this was another sticky fingers moment here. We had,
Another klepto moment.
Another one?
this one took place at Walmart though.
Oh, Jesus.
So they had little PVC figurines about this big of Dragon Ball. This was not Dragon Ball Z, regular Dragon
The
Ball.
original Dragon Ball.
Balls.
And we probably 5-finger discounted about 6 or 7 of those things.
Yeah, so Travis and I would stuff them in our tidy whities. We'd have like Ox King and Goku and Krillin.
Listeners are
and
just plummeting right
Propeller.
now. I can't support these kleptos.
Were they?
I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm pretty disappointed in y'all.
You want me to add? Do you want me to add to it? I've stolen a keychain from Spencer's before.
This disappoints me, guys. It's very disappointing.
If I burst into flames, you know why.
I wish I still had those PVC figures. So
They were PVC. I remember having
Yeah, like
little
this
like, rubbery, like they were like little ninjas, and they were like all different colors.
Oh, I had those too.
But you
Yeah,
get them
we
from
had
like
those,
the
didn't
little
s-
dispensers.
Yeah.
But we didn't steal those.
I think I still got those at my parents' house.
Those were legit. I missed those.
Let's go find them and bring a couple of them back
Yeah,
for
next
Russell.
pod. Next
So
pod,
Russell can
we'll display them.
Russell can put them in his house.
I put them in my china cabinet.
Top 5 things we've stolen in our youth.
Right next to the monk with his dick that pops up.
What?
apparently,
So I didn't mention the monk's name. It's called the Merry Monk.
The Merry Monk. Not the one on the Francis Connor bottle.
I don't even know where to.
So let me wrap this up though. To just say when Russell walked in with that hat on, the thought of me stealing pens from Canby just popped in my head.
Get some PTSD.
Patrick, have you
It
stolen
wasn't
anything?
PTSD though. It was more of enjoyment.
Seriously, have you stolen anything, Patrick?
in my youth, yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I listen. I'm not judging from the sense of like you're an asshole for stealing. I might be judging the quality of the content that you stole, but not the fact you did it. We were all dumb kids.
What did you heist?
it was probably more of I borrowed something from, I wouldn't say they were friends, but people in my neighborhood and just didn't return it to them. Like I remember having a bowling game on Nintendo.
That's not stealing. That's not stealing.
Well, I didn't give it back to them.
Yeah, but it's different. They're going to a store and taking something out of a package and sticking it in your pocket.
Honestly,
Mike is so disappointed in this.
So what I'm hearing here is you got a brown guy and you got a black guy that's never stolen before, but y'all two motherfuckers.
Because they can get away with it.
Disappointing.
I'm sure
The crab mallet says otherwise.
So I think Mike is saying because he didn't open that crab mallet out of a package, he's okay.
It wasn't me. It was somebody else.
It was free, Travis.
Do you have any other silverware from a restaurant that you took home?
Nope.
I believe that very same day they put a steak sauce in Jamie's purse. Now, who was it? I don't know if it was Mike or Jamie, but
Well, Mike's going to say it's all Jamie. So, Jamie, if you're listening, your husband just threw you on the bus.
Yes.
I can't honestly remember a specific. Okay, so there was like a. You ever see like the number 2 pencils that had like a colored like ring on the top before the eraser? So it was like an eraser. There was like almost like the colored ring on our mic cables. It was like that.
The metal piece?
It was either plastic or metal, but no, it was plastic instead of metal.
Okay.
But like I remember like just being enamored with like that. It was a blue ring on the pencil. I do believe I boosted a pack of those.
a pack.
Well, there goes my theory.
Yeah. Sorry to disappoint you, Mike. I'm the stereotype is true. I'm one of them.
A whole pack?
Mike, you were not innocent, bro.
Yeah, you're not innocent. Like, hold on now. You can put all the
Please find
technicalities.
that clip,
I'm
Patrick,
guilty
and we'll
by
put it in the
association.
You're still guilty though.
I'm guilty by association.
So look, Todd and I are admitting that we did this.
I'm not
But
admitting,
you
I'm
had-
not admitting shit.
you fucking denied
You had 2 eyewitnesses
It
sitting
wasn't
across
me.
the table from
It
you.
was Jamie.
We all put our
Stop
names.
blaming Jamie. For
We all
this.
put our names on it and everything.
Episode
So I
title,
guess-
Mike is not a klepto,
So I,
question
guess,
mark?
so I guess we're partially guilty of stealing this mallet too. Huh?
Don't. That woman is the mother of your children. Don't you dare blame her.
I'll throw her under the bus in a second.
Not only is Mike a terrible teammate, he's also a bad husband. In that regard, you're a fantastic father and husband. You're just a piece of shit for this one.
Okay, I'll take that.
And on that note,
Wagons out.
Wow.